Hello, I'm Benny Westside. Today we're going to talk about the new Avengers. This is going to be a long one, so strap in, get a beverage, a snack. We're going to be chatting for a while. We want to talk about kits, war defense, standalone value, and dark dimension prospects. Um, and a little bit of theorizing towards the end. Yeah, so let's go. New Avengers. Let's start with Ronan. I think he has one of the more straightforward kits. Uh, I'm not gonna read through all of it, but I want to point out key elements. Uh, on his passive, he has very interesting things. He has a massive focus boost for the team. This speed boost is very interesting. He gives the whole team 35% speed only on more defense. I think this is nice because if you saw the speed stats, they kept them around 120, which sort right now in the meta isn't bad, but it's not striking. But when you boost it on more defense, they're all super fast, which is a great way for them to combat the speed creep that's been going on. So I think we might keep seeing this in the future. I think this is an interesting concept. Uh, because like if you noticed, like the secret defenders, especially Black Cat, the speed stats are getting kind of out of hand. So I think this will be their way of mitigating that going forward. He has some Black Widow synergy, some reflexive support, which I really like. And then another niche element he has is on enemy revive, he's going to apply blind. This can come into use in some niche situations. And then something that's kind of scary is on or defense. Uh, if when you're going into them, you're not going to be able to gain speed bar. So characters like Jessica Jones, Morgan Le Fay, um, Omega Red, Nova. I don't know if Nowhere is going to be able to beat this team. We'll see. So that's kind of scary, I'll be honest. So looking at his abilities, he has some long cooldowns. His ultimate is on a 7-turn cooldown. It comes ready. It's kind of raw damage. He applies blind, and then on war defense, he also applies trauma. This is nice. It calls back to Hawkeye, Hawkeye's kit, who also applies blind. So I like this. And then on his special, which is gonna come on turn 3, he has a stun. On his basic, he counters the one character. It's mainly raw damage, but on war defense, on his ISO attack, with the full team, he's gonna rewind for 25%. So far, there's no counters in this team, but the thing is, on the counter, it doesn't matter because you can't rewind a character into the negative. Like, the only way he would counter is if he gets hit, and that character is gonna have 0 turn meter anyway. So, um, on the counter, it doesn't matter, but on the assist and ISO attack, it might. Again, there's no assist right now. So, unless you want to run him with Ms. Marvel, it's probably mainly just going to be on his ISO attack. So his base speed is 119, but with his passive on war defense, he goes to 160, which is crazy. And he's one of the slower ones. The other ones are faster. He has decent health. His damage is rank 11, which is huge, and that's comparable to like Phyla-Vell or Echo. But keep in mind, those two characters and most of the other characters in this like top 10 range have the damage passive for their team. And so he's up there without that. That's his base raw damage. And if the fifth character brings a damage passive, then he's gonna do insane amounts of damage. So that's pretty impressive. And then his focus is rank 5, but he does have that 80% focus boost that he applies to himself and the rest of the team. So that's pretty interesting. I think he's gonna be like a huge damage dealer on the team. Beyond that, let's look a little bit of what he loses off of war defense and off of his team. His two control ability, his special and his ultimate, the control doesn't change. He still applies the blind, he still applies the stun, but again, he's not the fastest character that you could be plugging and playing, and it's just a single target blind on his first turn. So I can't see him getting that much standalone use. His basic again doesn't revive off of war defense, which is a bummer. And then on his passive, he loses a lot as well. The apply blind to reviving characters, that's interesting. Off the top of my head, I can't see like a an immediate use for it, but it could come into play. And then in terms of gear, he takes osmium and he takes 3 sets of skill minis for gear 18. So for Dark Dimension 6, I don't think he's out of the question because city's kind of restricted and he is skill, but he takes osmium and he doesn't necessarily bring much to the fight when you take him into Dark Dimension. I think some people will, and I wouldn't blame them, but I don't think he's like a top contender. If you do take him, he would mostly be just a war investment. But it is nice that we're getting another skill character, so I appreciate that. All right, let's look at the thing. It's a decent, solid rework. I can't say he's like a crazy character now, but let's look into it. On war defense, on spawn, he's gonna get 35% speed bar, which is great. So that means he's probably gonna go first. We don't know what the 5th character is, but he's probably gonna go first, and then his first attack is his ultimate, which is a stun. So that's great. It could go on. He's gonna target the enemy with the highest focus, so it could be somebody like a Vol or a Sylvie, or like I don't know why I went to Bifrost. It could be a Morgan Le Fay, uh, probably a Nova. So that speed bar on spawn is very nice. When an enemy attacks this character, a Fantastic Four or a new Avenger ally, if he doesn't have ability block, he's going to attack for 150% piercing, and then on war defense, it's gonna have 75% more damage. And also on war defense, if that enemy is a bioprotector, he's gonna clear 5 charged. So let's say Red Hulk attacks somebody, not even him, somebody. He's gonna clear charges from him. Your Red Hulk's not gonna be able to get charged. This is pretty cool. All right, and then he also applies armor for the team. We talked a little bit about his ultimate, which is his turn 1 ability. It's a stun, and then on war defense, he's also going to clear buffs. He's gonna apply disrupt, trauma. This is like maybe the inverse of what Nova's special, what his turn 1 is, because he also gains turn bar on spawn, and then he goes early and then clears and trauma stuns somebody, which is sort of what he's going to do on defense. And then his special is a single target multi-hit, and he's going to be flipping deflex, minor deflex on death proofs. So I would call that almost a raw damage ability, which his basic is that. Looking at his stats, he got a speed bump, but it's still not great. 100 speed. On more defense, it's 135, but keep in mind he's probably gonna go first. He has decent health, high damage, okay focus, but the main ability where he needs the focus gets 2000% focus, so his focus stat isn't all that important either. And then if you wish, you could boost his damage or focus or health stats by pairing him with some Fantastic Four allies. I think this is a solid rework. Nothing too much to say. He he's probably like best as a striker, like overall as a character, but it does look like his gimmick is that stun. So maybe you know how like Zemo, he needs to do his thing, right? So that's why we run him as skirmisher. So that might be the case. We'll see how it plays out. He does get the extra focus, but you know, uh, even that bonus to 2,000% sometimes fails. So we could see skirmisher things. And then, as I said, he is a damage dealer, so he could be a striker or a raider. It's too soon without having the final character to decide. Um, I wouldn't put high ISO investment in him yet before we know more. Looking at his standalone value, he's pretty lacking, to be honest with you. I don't think he's gonna see any use off of this team. He has a turn one stun technically, but he's so slow that it's not gonna matter. And then for Dark Dimension, he's bio and he takes 5 minis, and he doesn't have anything in his kit that's necessarily uh, making him Dark Dimension valuable. So I would strongly recommend against it. All right, let's look at Coulson now. I want to save Mockingbird and the summons last. So Coulson, interestingly, what is the first character tagged for War Defense? He was released almost 4 years ago, and he, he was quite the bastion on defense, actually. So let's look at his kit. Uh, if he falls below 50% health, he fills the speed bar of ally shield medic by 60%. Now the team doesn't immediately have shield medic, but we're gonna see with Mockingbird where that comes from. On war defense, he's gonna give 40% max health for himself and shield allies, which right now is only Mockingbird and her summons. He's gonna give 120% resistance for self and shield allies, again only for Mockingbird and her summons. Um, I asked if this is meant to apply to other new Avenger allies. It doesn't seem to be. On war defense, he is going to apply immunity to shield and new Avenger allies, which is great. I am suspecting the fifth character might apply safeguard on war defense on spawn, so we might be looking at another um, Infinity Watch or last season's Unlimited situation. All right, his turn one. Teamwork. This is a big ability. He's gonna apply offense up to the team. On war defense, he's gonna clear all the buffs from the highest damage target. He's gonna apply defense down, taunt, and disrupted to that character. And then he's gonna call 2 of his allies with the highest damage to attack that character. And then he himself is going to attack everybody for 280% damage. He's gonna gain a slight focus boost for this attack to clear those effects and apply those debuffs. And then on more defense, this attack cannot be countered or blocked. Not blocked is very nice, actually. His turn 2, it's an AoE. He's gonna attack primary target for 200 and all other enemies for 150. On more defense, he's going to copy. So I asked for clarification on the wording, so I did adjust some of the wording in the text here to make it more clear. He's going to copy 4 effects from the primary target to all non-minion shield and new Avenger allies. He's not going to clear them because he's going to flip them. The wording wasn't clear if he's going to get to flip the ones he copies, so those are going to get flipped, so that's good. And then after that, he's going to remove all positive effects from all enemies, which is great. He's going to apply slow and heal block to all tech and bio enemies. Tech is from back in the day, probably meant to counter Ultron. Now they added bio. This is clearly a signal that Gamma's not going to beat this team. And I don't know yet, but maybe nowhere won't either because um, there's some things like the things stun, some of these bio callouts. We'll have to see once the full team releases. All right, and then on war defense, this also cannot be blocked or countered. And then his basic, one of my all-time favorite basics in the game. He's gonna attack primary target and chain to 2 to 4 adjacent targets, and he's gonna reduce the speed bar of all of them by 20%. So he could conceivably rewind the whole team for 20% on a basic. I've always loved this. And then on his ISO, he rewinds 20% from the primary. Looking at his stats, he also got a speed bump, which he's now 120 base, and then on more defense, it's 162. Again, it's not high for the current meta, the 120, but it's respectable. His health is okay. With the team, he's better. Damage isn't great. He's middling. And then I mean that Icarus, Lady Deathstrike, those characters can do some damage. Then again, his multipliers aren't the best. So yeah, don't expect too much damage. But there is one thing: shield assault gives him 50% crit chance boost. So he's gonna have a high crit chance. And then Mockingbird summons shield assault, so that's gonna help. All right, and then his focus is good, and then with Ronan, it's gonna be even better. So again, we don't have the final character, so I'm not making ISO suggestions, but he's historically been a striker. My initial gut instinct would be to keep him that, but we'll see. He might go to Raider because of that crit chance boost. We'll see. Looking at his standalone value, he has no passive, which I just find very funny. His ultimate is still very good. His basic is still amazing. His special is great. He's still clearing all positive effects from everybody. These are really good abilities. I'm very excited to try him in Tech Raid, in Incursion Raid Tech Section, and I'll show you how that goes. And then also, aside from raids, I think he will see some Crucible solo value, and then I think he's a good contender for Dark Dimension 6. He is global, he is tech. He does take 4 minis, but because he's tech, I think that's more palatable. And then if you do bring a Mockingbird or somebody like a Black Widow or either of the Captain Americas, I think he's gonna have a lot of value. And it would probably be a pretty fun team, to be honest with you. So I would say consider him. That's a lot of tech up front, and then you're gonna go into Kang and Cosmic. But if you can dump some skill and tech in Global, then you're free to use Bio and Mystic in Cosmic and City, which that's generally I think the higher value types in those sections. All right, let's look at Mockingbird. She has a hefty kit. It's pretty long. So let's start. I'll call out that she has shield tag as well. And then looking at tags, all new Avengers are Avengers. You don't inherently see it on the roster screen, but they're all Avengers. If you filter by Avenger, they come up. They gain Avenger buffs from various abilities. If like a character who's an astonishing X-Men is an X-Men. A character who is a secret defender is a defender. That's just how it is. They don't crowd your character page with all those tags. So don't come at me. They're all Avengers. All right, let's look at her passive. Tactician. On spawn, she's gonna gain offense up for 2 turns, which is interesting. Just kind of like a cute little selfish little boost for herself. When this character, a non-summoned new Avenger or shield ally, drops below 50% health, she's gonna summon a shield assault. I'm gonna mention the summons here, and then we're gonna look at their kits separately. And then on war defense, she's also going to apply taunt, defense up, and death proof to the summon. And then uh, if it's a new Avenger, so she's this next part isn't going to apply to shield. If it's a new Avenger, she's also going to apply +1 stealth. On end of any turn, if a new Avenger ally has stealth but has health greater than 75%, she's going to clear their stealth and give them speed bar, which is kind of nice. On war defense, she's going to give 15% max health to the team. And then on war defense, her summons are going to have better health and better damage. She comes with her abilities full. Her special is a 4-turn cooldown. Her ultimate is a 6-turn cooldown. She's going to start with her ultimate. She's going to attack everybody for damage. On war defense, she's going to flip taunt on everybody, and she's going to have extra focus for this. And then she's going to rewind all of them for 35% damage. Her speed is 121. On war defense, that's 163. She's gonna go right after the thing. We don't know. Maybe the fifth has a higher speed stat, but she's gonna go right after the thing and rewind everybody for 35%. This is gonna be like Sylvie basically in the raid room. So this is big on war defense only. And then for all shield allies, she's gonna flip 2 debuffs. For new Avenger allies, she's gonna flip all debuffs. She's gonna spread all buffs from self to new Avenger and shield allies. Keep in mind, she spawns with offense up and goes early, and this is her first turn, so she's likely going to spread that offense up. She's gonna heal self and all new Avenger allies for 15%, and then she's gonna heal other allies for 5%. This is great. They have these stupid healers like Iron Fist World War II or Peggy Carter, who only heal their teammates. This character is a healer and she heals everybody. That's good. She heals more for her team, but she heals everybody. That's great. That's what we want to see. So I appreciate this. Even if it's 5%, that's good. And then she's also going to summon a shield medic, and on war defense, the medic gets stealth, defense up, death proof. On war defense, she's going to give speed bar to Ronan. So Ronan's probably going to go before Coulson. And then on war defense, this is unblockable and cannot be countered. No unavoidables, if you've noticed, which is interesting. Alright, let's look at her special. This is going to be her turn 2. She's only going to attack the primary, then she's going to chain to 4. This is a rebound chain. On war defense, she's going to clear bleed from all new Avenger allies. In the ability text, the order of this is different. I confirmed with them. She's going to clear bleed first, and then she's going to clear 3 additional random negative effects from all new Avenger and shield allies. The way it was written was the 3 debuffs were written first, and I was wondering if those 3 debuffs could waste the bleeds, and then she doesn't flip anything more. No, on war defense, she's gonna clear all bleed from all new Avengers, and then she's gonna go flip bleeds, clear other debuffs. Okay. And then she's gonna apply +1 stealth to all new Avenger and shield allies below 50% health. This is a nice little support ability. And then she's gonna heal self and all new Avengers for 15%. She's gonna apply immunity to all of them, and then generate ability energy to those that need it. And then she's eventually gonna heal everybody else for 5%. Again, on war defense cannot be countered or blocked. And then this is a very nice basic. She's gonna attack for damage. She's gonna heal her teammates for 10% and all other allies for 5%. And she's gonna do that on her ISO as well. I like this. Just a team-wide healing on her basic. That's pretty nice. Let's look at her stats. 121 speed. Again, with the 4 that we have right now, she's gonna go second. With Ronan, it goes to 163. Decent health, and then on war defense, she has better health, so as a healer, that's valuable. She has okay damage. I didn't put her focus stat here because it's not that important. Her basic and special don't care about her focus. Her ultimate only cares about focus because she flips taunt on all enemies. That's all, and it gains 2000% extra focus, so it's likely going to land. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so let's theorize a little bit. Flipping taunt on all enemies. This could be a call out to Hulk spawning with taunt. Uh, Off the top of my head, I think he has safeguard as well with that taunt. So we might see another character that prevents safeguard on spawn. Probably locked to war defense. Alright, we looked at the stats. Alright, yeah, it's a loaded kit. She has shield oh yes, she has shield synergy. I really like that. It's not just tied to new Avengers. The shield synergy is limited, but it's good. It's there. Now let's look at her standalone value. She does lose a lot of the chunk of her text, but she still has good abilities. Uh, she still summons her assault, her medic, and she still heals everybody for 5%. And then she has self heals on every ability. I think um, she's a decent plug and play. Uh, she will likely want another new Avenger or two or some shield allies to feel useful. Or like if we're plugging her and plug and playing her, we might be plugging her into a team that already has a couple shield characters, if that makes sense. So she won't be uh, like an uh, like an Emma Frost where she can go anywhere. But I think she will have a little more flexibility than, say, a Ronan. And then looking at her Dark Dimension viability, I think she's a good choice for that. She's skill. She takes 3 minis, which is okay. And she has healing on every ability, and she has summons. That's great. Um, so I'd say consider her for sure. And oh, looking at her ISOs, we didn't talk about her ISOs at all. We don't know the final team comp. Again, I'm repeating it. I have to. Don't take these as suggestions and don't go rocketing these characters. I can see her as a striker or a healer. Healer makes sense. She has healing on every ability. But striker would also be of value because she would be healing the whole team for 10%, and 10% is not a bad amount. All right, let's look at the part that pissed me off the most about this team: the summons. They didn't touch them at all, whatsoever. Nothing, like no stat bump, nothing. The only thing is, on war defense, they get a little more extra health and a little more damage. That's all. They didn't touch their abilities. They didn't get the tag. No stat bump, nothing. When Fury got reworked, Shield Operative and Security got a rework, and his summons got a little extra more, and the summons got the tag. Not here. When Underworld got reworked, Nobu's summons got a stat bump, and the ones like the individual solo characters got the stat bump, and then the ones that Nobu summons at least got the tag. With Kingpin, his bodyguard doesn't exist as a solo character, but he got a rework, he got stat bumps, and then the summon also has the tag. For the life of me, I cannot comprehend why they're not doing this here. Uh, Off of war defense, she's gonna summon these characters with their stats and kits from 4 years ago when Coulson was released. It, it like I can't comprehend. Apparently, their logic for this is that they're just there for fodder. But like, why would you not want to touch them up? Why would you want to leave characters on your roster that just have no value whatsoever. Just and you're attaching them to a team, but not touching them up. It just like makes no sense to me. It infuriates me, to be honest with you. And the ulterior motive I see in this is this team could end up being the next trial team, like Nowhere is right now. Um, I have some arguments for this. We just got a war defense team, so what's going to make us care about this? There's no rewards for war defense wins. Uh, there's no resources to build a war defense team. What's going to make players care about building this team? It's that they have to. Like right now, I currently have no resources to build anything, to buy anything in the game. There's no gold. But if they force me, I'm gonna have to scrape from other places and focus it here, and that's what they want. So I highly think this is a Scourge team. Uh, Mockingbird having the healing makes sense to me. Uh, the characters having these control abilities, I think it looks like uh, they would, you know, function well in a trial environment. And then looking a bit at the idea or their claim that the minions are just for fodder, uh, I would assume that Death Seed or Astonishing X-Men isn't going to beat this team. But they might be setting up for two different scenarios. Either a reworked symbiotes team with the symbiote Silver Surfer and Carnage as a war offense team to come beat this, or a reworked or like alternate Sinister Six team with the rumored Green Goblin as a legendary and a reworked Vulture who has this summon farming passive in his kit. They might expand that to the team. I don't know. This is just me theorizing, and they might just be setting up this like massive war defense that's unbeatable. So you have to get this new team. That might be it. But that said, I'm really pissed at how they're treating some of these characters. These two on the screen right now. Doctor Strange recently, Scarlet Witch, like 2 years in a row, she got reworked, but not really. I don't know why they do these things. Anyway, I think I think I've said everything that I needed to say. I'll be honest with you, I like Coulson, and I'm liking all these characters that I'm seeing on the team. If I had resources, I might have been tempted to build them. If they make it a trial team, I'm gonna be forced to build them. We'll see. Yeah. Um, sorry, I'm ending on the negative note, but you know, it just seeing it pisses me off. Anyway, let me know how you feel about this team. If you have any idea or any wishes for who the fifth character is, I don't know who it is. Let me know who you imagine it could be. Um, I think we could see some interesting mechanics from that character. Safeguard on spawn might be it. We talked about some other things, so I'm interested to see. Um, yeah. Thank you for going over these kits with me. I'll see you in the next one.